Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The expected reserves of liquefied natural gas in the Sultanate of Oman records an increase by 7% by the end of 2022. And Erdogan reveals the date of Putin's visit to Turkey and confirms their agreement on the need to extend the Ukrainian grain agreement across the Black Sea. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The expected reserves of natural gas in 2022 amounted to 24 trillion cubic feet, up by 7% compared to 2021. The annual report issued by the Ministry of Energy and Minerals showed that the expected total reserves of crude oil and condensate by the end of last year amounted to 4,905 million barrels. With regard to electric energy, the total production in 2022 was about 41.8 terawatt per hour, with a net production of 40.4 terawatt per hour, with an increase of 2% compared to 2021. In the mineral sector, the Sultanate of Oman's total export of mineral ores amounted to approximately 36.5 million tons, recording a decrease of 2% compared to 2021. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth, represented by the Directorate General of Youth, launched the Youth Ambassadors Program in cooperation with the Foreign Ministry and the United Nations Institute for Training and Research. The program seeks to expand youth's contribution in the country's social and economic development processes, broaden their knowledge skills by actively involving them in regional and international events, and empowering them in order to have more leading positions. This will achieve both their aspirations and the goals of Oman Vision 2040. Muscat Stock Exchange (MSX) recorded weekly gains with the rise of the share value towards 24 billion Omani riyals, recording over 40 million Omani riyals last week only. The main MSX indicator broke the threshold of 4,800 points on Tuesday and Wednesday, but fortified these gains on Thursday. The weekly trades in the stock exchange closed at 4,796 points, with weekly increase of 6 points, recording gains for 2 straight weeks. Russian President Vladimir Putin has agreed to extend the Black Sea grain deal, which expires next week, according to the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The Turkish president also said that his Russian counterpart will visit Turkey next August to further discuss the Black Sea grain deal. The deal, signed 5 months after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, is set to expire on Monday, and Putin has repeatedly threatened not to renew it because of the obstacles to Russia's own exports. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres sent Putin a letter this week about the extension of the deal, saying he supports removing hurdles to Russia's exporting its fertilizers, an element Moscow has complained is not being respected. Russia and Ukraine released the latest reports on their ongoing conflict yesterday, with each saying striking the other's military targets that include ammunition depots and air defense system. The Russian Defense Ministry reported yesterday that in the past day, the Russian army repelled multiple attacks by the Ukrainian army in Donetsk, Lyman, and other directions, destroying their tanks, armored vehicles, ammunition depots, and other equipment. The ministry said Russian air defense forces intercepted several Ukrainian drones and their types of rockets. The Ukrainian armed forces released a war report yesterday saying that in the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian armed forces engaged in about 20 battles with the Russian army in Kupiansk and other directions. The Ukrainian Air Force missile units and artillery units struck the areas with Russian personnel and equipment, air defense facilities, and artillery positions, it said. Japan called on China to approach the release of radioactive water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant in a scientific manner at a meeting held between Japanese Foreign Minister Yoshimasa Hayashi and Chinese top diplomat Wang Yi. In a move that has caused alarm among neighboring counter islands, local fishermen, Japan is set to start releasing more than 1 million tons of water from the wrecked Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant this summer. China has emerged as the most vocal of these critics, saying the plan would endanger the environment and the human lives as well. The issue of the water release took up to a substantive amount of the hour-long talk between Wang and Hayashi, but the two didn't come to a clear agreement on the matter. At least 22 people have died and 14 are missing after heavy rain caused flooding and landslides in South Korea, with thousands more ordered to evacuate their homes. South Korea is at the peak of its summer monsoon season, and there has been heavy rainfall for the last 3 days, triggering widespread flooding and landslides and causing a major dam to overflow. The majority of the casualties include 16 dead and 9 missing were from Gyeongsang province, largely due to the massive landslides in the mountainous area that engulfed houses with the people inside it. More than 6,400 residents in the central county of Gyeosan were ordered to evacuate earlier today as the Gyeosan Dam began overflowing and submerging low-lying villages nearby. Some of the people who have been reported missing were swept away when a river overflowed in North Gyeongsang province. Rescue workers were battling to reach some 19 cars trapped in 430-meter-long underground tunnel in Cheongju. Heavy floods left vehicles and residents stuck in swirling muddy water in parts of China's Chongqing and the Inner Mongolia, where other parts of the country continued to grapple with the heat waves. Flash floods caused by the torrential rain have ripped through parts of China over the past few weeks, with Chongqing hit particularly hard in the last few days. The North China's Inner Mongolia region was hit by intense rainstorms yesterday, and some residents were rescued from their inundated homes by local firefighters. As authorities issued upgraded emergency response plans and warned of flooding and landslides in some areas, the National Meteorological Center issued yellow alerts for ongoing heat waves across the whole nation, with the highest temperature reaching up to 45 Celsius in China's Xinjiang. A rocket engine exploded during a test in Japan, the latest in a series of failures that have deflated the country's space ambitions. Footage showed flames shooting out the side of the test facility in Noshiro City in Akita Prefecture before the small building was engulfed in flames and the roof blew off. No injuries were reported. The explosion of the Epsilons S took place about a minute into the test of the second stage at Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency JAXA testing site. JAXA's new medium-lift H-3 rocket was ordered to self-destruct on the debut flight in March when the second stage engine didn't ignite as planned. That followed the failure of the agency's solid-fuel Epsilon 6 rocket in October. Spanish authorities have preemptively evacuated some 500 people after a wildfire broke out in the Canary island of La Palma. The regional president of the Canary Islands said that the blaze has destroyed at least 11 homes with a relatively small burn zone of 140 acres. He warned that the number of evacuees could easily increase as Spain's army has deployed 150 of its firefighters to help the local crews battle the blaze. The fire coincides with a heat wave that is hitting southern Europe. Still to come on News Bulletin. The world's largest floating book fair returns to Muscat after 10 years. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The official media coverage for Kharif season started with Oman Radio, Oman TV, and Oman News Agency media personnel moving to the tourism destinations to provide coverage from the ground to the audience. 3 fully furnished mobile studios were mobilized to 3 main locations in Wadi Darbat, Quwad, and Atin Mountain to provide special TV and radio programs, People and Kharif in the radio. The 3 studios are equipped with teams of professional media specialists and engineers to deliver quality media materials in the TV, radio, and other digital platforms as well. The 2 programs will run on a daily basis until late August to interact with the visitors who come to enjoy a ride on a boat and a walk in the exceptional locations. A ceremony was held to mark the anniversary of laying the foundation stone of Oman Across the Ages Museum. The event was presided over by Her Highness Sayyida Mayam bint Shahab bin Tariq Al Saeed, and we have more details in the following report.
On July 14, 2015, the late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Saeed, may his soul rest in peace, laid the foundation stone for the project of Oman Across Ages Museum in the Wilaya of Manah in the Dakhiliya Governorate, to be an epitome of past glories and an icon of the Renaissance. To commemorate the auspicious anniversary of laying the foundation stone of the Oman Across Ages Museum, a ceremony was held entitled An Everlasting Foundation. The ceremony also witnessed launching Oman Across Ages Museum documentary film that portrayed the different stages of constructing this iconic landmark that occupies an estimated area of 300,000 square meters. And its buildings cover more than 66,000 square meters. The Al-Hajar Mountains inspire its design. It is an architectural wonder representing the Omani environment with unique geographical traits. Oman Across Ages Museum is a cultural and educational landmark that demonstrates Oman's transition from its past glories to the present and into the bright future in modern style, using interactive audio-visual displays to boost the relationship of Omani youth with their cultural heritage and encourage them to interact with their past in a way that inspires them to take part in the building and shaping the future of their homeland. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
In recognition of the bilateral relations between the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of Switzerland, Oman's Royal Cavalry at the Royal Court Affairs and the Royal Guard of Oman took part in the Basel Tattoo with a wide participation from music bands around the globe. The military music show is currently being held in Basel and will continue until July 2022. During the event, musicians from the Royal Cavalry and the Royal Guard of Oman played Omani and international music pieces representing both the Omani versatile heritage and its harmony to international music. To mark the occasion of 50 years of continued relations between the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of Switzerland, the Omani musicians formed the number 50 on horseback. Oman Flour Mills Company confirmed that it has so far received nearly 5,000 tons of wheat from Omani farmers. The company added that it will continue with its plans to purchase wheat products from farmers during the coming years and develop it as a product in the local and regional markets as well, noting that Omani wheat is well received by consumers due to its very high quality. The area of land cultivated with wheat in some governorates in the Sultanate of Oman is 2,500 acres. Sultan Qaboos, a port in the Wilaya of Matrah, received the biggest floating book fair in the world, Logos Hope Ship. We have more details in the following report.
Logos Hope Ship, the world's largest floating book fair, docks in Muscat once again after 10 years from its last visit to the Sultanate of Oman. The ship, which houses a massive moving collection of books from across the world, will be stationed in Sultan Qaboos port until the 22nd of July. After that, it will sail to Salalah port and will welcome visitors there until August 3rd. Along with its bookshop, the ship presents its visitors with various activities, including an art exhibition, children's theater, and performances from around the world.
Salam alaikum. So I'm so excited that the ship is here. What we are doing on the ship, we are hosting over multiple thousand people every day to come on board, and we have in lots of different departments on board. So we have people working in the kitchen, we have people working in the engine room, or as well in the deck department, to make it possible that thousands of people can visit the ship. Our books are from donated external sponsors, and we are here to provide affordable literature for people from all around the world.
On average, the floating book fair receives 1 million visitors on board every year during its visit to the world's port, with over 5,000 titles on sale. The range of books in the ship varies from atlases, dictionaries, education textbooks, children's books, and literature. Logos Hope is operated by a German charity institution with the aim of spreading the culture of reading by providing various titles at an affordable cost.
This year, Logos Hope visited, and I had a great time here. I usually read fantasy fiction books, and I'm loving it here. The books here are awesome, and the crew here, everyone's great. I love Logos Hope so far, and I can't wait to enjoy more.
Logos Hope has welcomed 49 million visitors during its lifetime from across 480 ports in 150 countries. The nearly 350 crew members from over 65 nationalities are all volunteers serving in their professional capacity for the common goal of bringing people together under a roof of knowledge and culture.
Gustave Flaubert once said, "Do not read books like children for amusement, nor like the ambitious for instruction, but rather as a way to live." I happen to agree with him, and that is why I'm here today, not only to cover this event, but to break my own promise to myself, which is not to buy any more books until I've finished the ones I already have. Experience this extraordinary event for yourself anytime before the 22nd of July. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Sousan Ali Al-Suleymaniya, Muscat.
Thank you, Sousan. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The expected reserves of liquefied natural gas in the Sultanate of Oman recorded an increase by 7% by the end of 2022. And Erdogan reveals the date of Putin's visit to Turkey and confirms their agreement on the need to extend the Ukrainian grain agreement across the Black Sea. With that, we have come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from all of us here at the newsroom and the studios. Thank you for watching and have a good night.